Hello and welcome to Rantpocalypse Talks Fear the Walking Dead. I'm Justin.
Hey, I'm Kelly, and we are a mother and son team, if you didn't know that.
I say it's time, Mom, that we get into our overall episode thoughts.
So overall thoughts.
Yes.
I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Okay, that's good.
I thought both of the hours moved, or 40 minutes, whatever it ended up actually being, moved along really quickly. I felt like there were some holes in it,
Yeah,
but overall, I enjoyed the episode.
that's good. I'm with you. It went by really quickly. I know both of us were complaining about the level of notes that we took. And like I take mine on these like giant ass index cards. They're the biggest index cards I've ever seen. And I had like I think 13 index cards that I took notes on. It was insane. Yeah, you've got a lot. You've got a lot of notes there about this episode.
Seven pages.
But it was that first episode though. It felt like there was so many things transpiring in that first episode. Lots of really good things. Lots of what I thought was going to make for like really good setup to the episode 8, which would is ultimately the mid-season finale is episode
Right.
8. And yeah, there was lots of things that I really liked in The Unveiling, which is the name of episode 7. But then, for some reason, the payoff was not what I ultimately wanted to have happen in the mid-season finale. It's not to say that it wasn't good. I'm with you. The episode, it moved very quickly. I think the first episode, 7, was 44 minutes. Episode 8 was 52 minutes. So, like, episode 8 was a pretty supersized episode for Fear the Walking Dead. I mean, that's about 10 minutes longer than your typical Fear the Walking Dead episode. But I don't know. Like, I feel like those plot holes that you were talking about, those inconsistencies, like, they reared their ugly head in episode 8. Because it's like, we see Madison, she gets this backstory, and you want to feel really bad for her, and in that moment you do. You feel bad for her tragic upbringing, the fact that as a young girl she had this super abusive drunk bastard father, and at a very young age she learned like this hard lesson of what she's gonna have to do to protect her family. Oh, he's fine. Let him do his thing.
No. I'm just like, okay, a hard lesson, what you do to protect your family. Who kills their dad?
Well, I mean, if your dad is that much of an asshole, I guess you kill your dad. I don't know how she got out of it. Like that's another story to be told.
Right.
It's like this guy in the town that they lived in Alabama, he seemed like he was kind of a powerful dude.
He would, yeah, and possibly beloved because he kept up with everybody, knew what everybody was doing, would ask you, how's your son off at college? So it didn't sound like he was in the community.
Yeah.
They liked him. But now they never said that she killed him. She shot him.
She shot him in the face.
Okay. Well, you can live through that. I don't know, but I thought, well, that's weird. They didn't exactly say that.
Yeah, they didn't say that he died, but I just deduced that he did. He way dead. But my problem with it is it was a really cool revelation in this episode, and it made sense in this episode because you have Alicia and Nick confronting Madison about that she's this horrible human being, that she's heartless, emotionless,
right?
And so like when the reveal came, it was really good and it was impactful in this episode. But then when you go back to season 1, you're like, what the fuck? Madison couldn't kill shit. She was like so hesitant to kill anybody in season 1.
Okay, but
it's like if she had that killer instinct in her, because I get it. Like you kill one person doesn't mean you kill a whole lot of people.
Just because you kill your daddy.
Yeah,
doesn't mean you're a bad person.
Yeah, you're a stone cold killer anymore. But it was just weird. It was like an inconsistency to me with like the whole overall arch of Madison's character, arc of her character.
I actually liked it, and it explained to me her ability to be the badass that she has become. Yeah. In the first episode. In the first couple episodes, I think she kills a guy, a walker anyway, with the fire extinguisher in the very first episode at the school.
Yep.
So at the time, they didn't know anything about infected. She didn't. All she knew is that guy had the flu. She didn't know what was going on. So I'd say she's pretty much a stone cold killer. You and I would have been eaten.
I would have killed him.
Bullshit. You would have said, Frank, what's wrong, Frank? Are you okay, man? I have some asprin in my purse. Well,
Frank,
you would
eat
have
a
said it
Snickers,
first.
bitch.
Yeah, exactly.
You get angry when you're hungry.
Exactly. You turn into a zombie when you're hungry.
Yeah, that's what I would have done to Frank. But
so
she did kill that one person.
Yeah.
But I don't know. When I go back to season 1, she definitely had she had lots of trepidations about doing some of those things. And it's weird that they would reveal it in season 3, like in episode 8, that whole backstory. Again, not taken away from the impact that it had in the episode. In the episode, it was fun. But I don't know. That was a little bit of an inconsistency to me. And then with Jeremiah. Jeremiah, yes, he was not like the best dude you've ever met. You know, he was definitely a drunk. And there was some underlying things going on with him and the whole ranch, no doubt about it.
Little.
But he wasn't like this horrible, complete scum of the earth asshole. Like Merle Dixon, when you first met Merle Dixon, he was the biggest piece of shit you ever met. And you're like, this guy
and I love that
is
about him.
terrible. You know, he's a horrible human being. But you meet this Jeremiah Autocat. He's bringing people in. He's giving them shelter. He's giving them food. When this Walker guy wants to come take his land, he's not like, let's go out and murder them all. Not once did he say that. He's like, Jake, you know, go try to parlay. Go do whatever you got to do. I don't think it's going to matter at this point. Like the whole time he had this defeatist attitude the whole time. But the way that they just like beep turned him on a dime and made him like out to be this horrible, horrible person was just, I don't get it. Like, it was just, they didn't make him out to be as horrible as they thought that they did in this episode with what he did to Ophelia. Yes, it was shitty. Yes, it was racist. But at the end of the day, it wasn't like we haven't seen some of our Walking Dead characters that we love do this before. Rick Grimes left some poor schmuck out there on the side of the road that was like crying out for help, and Rick just said, "What? Did you hear anything?"
Hey,
Michonne, did you?
My brakes are bad.
Yeah,
I can't stop for you.
Exactly. I don't hear nothing. Did y'all hear anything? And so, you know, of course he didn't like drop by and say anything about like the color of that dude's skin or anything. You know, that's a little bit of a difference, that's for sure. But I just felt like the way that they played Jeremiah's character out in episode 8 was just kind of weird and all over the place. It was just too convenient for me. Like, I think that they should have brought Ophelia. They should have shown Ophelia back at the Brokejaw Ranch, getting like tortured and like horrible, despicable things done to her.
That's what I thought that they were going to do, so that I would hate him more.
Exactly.
So that she came back. You guys knocked that green screen over, and somebody's going to get a butt whooping. They're back there playing. I thought for sure she came back, and they treated her as slave labor, you know, that type of thing. But he left her out there to die. Yeah, which sucked.
Yeah, it was a terrible thing.
But you're right. It's the zombie apocalypse, and we only have so many resources to go around. He gave her a drink of water.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm not, approving of his actions by any stretch of the imagination. I mean, that's... And
she was hot. Who leaves hot people in the desert? No one does.
No doubt about it. And he doesn't have a wife around.
Right.
I mean, come on now. Let's get real. If this was like what we've seen in
real life.
If this was real life, which is horrible to say, but you're like, our first inclination is like, all right, real life, he's gonna like bring her back, he's gonna lure her in, he's gonna like take her to the bone zone willingly or unwillingly,
right?
And then that's what you automatically think. Like you see this Jeremiah guy kind of gives off a little bit of a creep vibe.
Right.
So I don't know. It was just that was another thing for me where I was just kind of like, man, you
So
could
for
have.
you, his storyline was a little unsatisfying.
Yeah, it was definitely unsatisfying to me.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't unsatisfying. It was just so abrupt. It just
Mm.
they had this character that I thought was very interesting. He definitely he had some demons in his past. That there's no doubt about that. But I felt like they had to go. They knew they had to go somewhere big in the mid-season finale, which I don't know why they feel like they always have to do that. There's
I know.
16 freaking episodes. You can let some things breathe a little bit more. I know we've been at Broke Jaw Ranch for all 8 episodes of this season, but I feel like that maybe there could have been more with this story, and just to have it like all of a sudden, he's just this, right at the beginning of episode 8. They're like, all right, we got to tell the story that Jeremiah is the worst and most despicable
He
human on the
is
planet.
a drunken asshole, and yes, we hate him.
Yeah.
Instead of the fact that he did give shelter to all these people, and
Yeah.
and really has tried to get along with people that were giving him a hard time about property that he actually owned. I get the whole we came in to North America and took it from the native people, but it was a while ago, and it wasn't Jeremiah that did it. And he did have, I think he had the deed to it. I think he paid for it. So
Yeah, I mean, all that even aside, it's just the fact that it felt so sudden that they really needed to do something different with this character. So by the end of it, they could kill him off, and people would be like, "Yeah, Jeremiah got it. That was totally justified." That Madison offs him in order to appease Walker and for Madison to take over. But it's still in the same time, it's like, all right, well, there's Troy there still. Is Troy gonna just take this? The way that they came in at the end, and Madison's just sitting there like, I don't even know what happened. He just did.
I was just having a conversation with him, and he said, "I can't take it anymore." And he didn't shoot himself like this in the temple. He shot himself right there.
He didn't shoot himself below the the mouth. Like that's the typical it's like right there. It's or at least I say typical, not like I don't know. I see what I see on TV, or you
Right.
see like autopsy reports and stuff like that. But I mean, to shoot himself square in the dome, that's a little bit difficult. That's hard to commit suicide that way, right? I mean,
I would think so.
Just holding my freaking hand up here, right now. I know you can't see it all the way, but like just holding my hand like in the shape of a gun on the top of my forehead. To then pull the trigger, I feel like I might be like, boop, oh, I grazed my head, and it just goes and bing, hits like the wall or something.
Well, and you'd think, okay, so maybe the boys in their grief, they buy it in the moment.
The onset, yeah.
But later on, they're gonna question it. Well, they won't have the head to go be able to dig the body up and find out exactly where the bullet went.
Yeah, that's true. I wonder if they're. Because at first I was confused at the end of the episode whenever that box came in. I honestly thought that was Travis for like a split second. I thought that she had made this agreement with Walker, and Walker was like, okay, well, you can have the body of Travis, give him a proper burial. I thought that's what that was. And then I realized, oh, no, it's actually Jeremiah's body. It's the same box that Troy and Jake had, and she went in there and sliced his head off. So,
Okay. No, wait a minute. Okay, so that was the deal. They took him in the box in the back of the truck to show it. Because I was really confused. It looked like to me like she was still back with the body sawing its head off while they took a joyride in the back of the truck. So I didn't get that.
I think that they cut that in an incorrect timing manner.
Okay. Well, that makes me feel better because I'm like, where the crap are these dudes going?
Yeah, no, that was confusing as hell. Like the way that they edited it where like Jake and Troy took off in the truck with the box, but then they went back and showed Madison with the box, and then taking the head to Walker. Yeah, that was some poor editing. It seemed like to me, or at least at the very least, some confusing editing.
Confusing. But,
yeah, definitely confusing. I don't want to harp on this episode a whole lot because like there was some things that I really enjoyed that I thought was really cool. I thought the Ophelia poisoning the camp. I thought that was a very interesting twist. Was not expecting that, and there was lots of action in these 2 episodes that went down, and I thought it was really cool. And for 2 episodes and really a whole first half of the season to not really involve zombies / walkers all that much, it was pretty damn good. Like I think it was a very satisfying 8 episodes overall. Like when I look at this half of the season, and I'm excited for where Fear the Walking Dead is going. There was just some minor things that I thought in my head, again, these are my subjective thoughts, that they should have taken it a little bit differently than they did. So that's just my thoughts. But so speaking of Ophelia poisoning the camp, I wanted to get into topic number 2. So we see in these episodes, we run into Ophelia again. She's alive. She's okay, sort of. Not great, but
She seems really pretty good.
Yeah.
I thought she was happy. She was, checking up with the head dude.
Was she doing that?
You didn't get that?
No, I did. I definitely got that vibe. I just they didn't explicitly tell us that, right? Like they weren't like they're
No,
boning.
they didn't go, "Oh, look at my ring. We got engaged."
Yeah.
I took it as they were hooking up.
Yeah, they seemed like they either had the vibe where they seemed like a couple, or they had that like brother and sister vibe. Where
in Game of Thrones, it's the same thing.
Exactly. In Game of Thrones, my brother, my sister is my wife, my lover.
Exactly. My baby mama.
And can possibly be my mom in some instances, right? Because like, didn't we? There was like this whole like as I'm going back and watching Game of Thrones.
Yes. Marjorie's grandmother.
Yeah.
Was it her grandmother?
Well, it's when Marjorie was gonna marry Joffrey.
Yes.
And then
the whole explanation of this is gonna be your uncle and he'll be your brother's, and I was like, holy shit, I love this show.
And technically he's your father-in-law because it's because he's that's not really like Robert Baratheon's not really his daddy. So
right.
Yeah, that was hilarious whenever she was going back through that. Why am I forgetting her name? Lady Olenna. Yeah, Lady Olenna. She's badass. I absolutely love her. Can't wait to get back to Game of Thrones.
Okay, let me just throw this in real quick. I was super excited. I'm not ever excited about the idea of. I love my job.
Yeah.
Love my job. I do morning radio, if you didn't already know that. I know you know that, Justin.
Yeah, I
do. But sometimes getting up that early sucks. But I was in a great mood and just super cheerful and chatty on the air. And then it dawned on me, it's because we're in the final week.
Yes.
The countdown today has begun.
It's glorious.
Yeah, Game of Thrones.
Oh, it's going to be so good. It's going to be so damn good. I really want us to go back and start, like, once this season's over with, I know that it's, we say this all the time, but I really want to go back to Game of Thrones Season 1 and just podcast it all the way through up until Season 8. I think that's going to be so much fun. I'm very excited to do that. And yes, to answer your question, Robin, we are going to be doing Game of Thrones. We're definitely going to be doing this, very similar to what we're doing right now, where we come and discuss Game of Thrones.
Is that what we're going to do?
I think so. I mean, I kind of like this. If Facebook would fix their stuff, that would be nice and make it where like I can see the chat a little bit better. But no,
we can only see the chat, like the past couple of comments.
Yeah,
so you can't scroll back and see.
Yeah, it's so weird. I don't understand it at all.
So if we missed your comment and you had something really awesome, just put it in there again, please.
Yes, please do that. And we'll either do it here or on YouTube. I haven't decided yet because I've been wanting to test this out, like doing the live streaming. And I also want to eventually put them up in audio form. For Fear the Walking Dead, Game of Thrones. I want to have them in both audio and video form. Lately it's just been video form, but I don't know. I don't know if I want to do them on Facebook or if I want to do them on our YouTube channel, Rantpocalypse, the YouTube channel. So I'm not sure yet. We'll figure it out. We got a whole 6 days, right? 7 days. I mean, we're so good at making plans in an hour's notice. So
yeah.
But we will stay tuned. We will let you guys know one way or another, either here on Facebook or on our YouTube channel, or probably all of the above.
And if the podcast doesn't come back soon, somebody's mom is going to have a shit fit. So.
Who would that be?
Justin's mother.
I'll get right on that, guys. I'll get right on that. So back to Fear the Walking Dead. I know the Game of Thrones hype is real. It's so real. It's hard not to get on the Game of Thrones hype train. But was Ophelia's betrayal of the Clarks justified? She came in and she poisoned not all, but she poisoned a lot of the militiamen of the Otto's militia, and then she thought she was just going to roll out, I guess, after she poisoned them, because that was a part of her plan with Walker, was to go in, and she thought that she was just going to be giving them some kind of slight food poisoning,
a little bellyache.
Yeah, exactly.
Slow them down a little bit.
They might have had to poo a lot, so then they wouldn't have been able to fight back.
That is totally what the first guy. I thought, oh man, he ate something funky, and he needs to go poop because he's like, oh. And I thought of you.
Yeah, that's a killer right there. That is that's a war ender right there. I mean, imagine that, people. Like, if you're on the front lines and you've got to poop, what do? And especially if you're in Game of Thrones, you got those big iron suits on, and you got like
all the
I don't even know those like iron cloths things that they have. I can't think of the name of those.
Podrick, come take off my iron so I can maketh doth poops.
Yes, exactly. I've got to maketh the poops. I thought that was the same thing. I did not expect them to suddenly keel over and die.
Yeah,
it's very similar to poor old Joffrey did in season 4. But yeah, I thought it was. I did think it was very interesting. It was a cool plot twist. Didn't see it coming. But do you think that she was she justified? Should she have done that? I mean, these were her people, the Clarks.
I thought it was pretty harsh, and it seemed like, I mean, she'd spent quite a bit of time with the Clarks, and it really hasn't been that long since she left the hotel. Yeah. I'm not exactly sure how many weeks, maybe a month. I don't know. It seemed like a very quick betrayal of the people that are considered your family. And even if you just thought you were going to make Nick a little bit sick, you still knew that the plan was for Walker's men to come in. Odds are he's going to kill a bunch of people, including Nick and Alicia and Madison. So I thought it was a little bit much. I didn't like it.
I'll agree with you. I think that I thought it was strange for her to suddenly see that even when she was talking with Alicia, it just seemed like she was so anti-Alicia and everything that Alicia stood for at that point, just because she was at the Otto's Broke Jaw Ranch now. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, like you come upon a group, and if that group's nice to you, then you stick with them, right? Especially if they've got resources, they've got, a place to lay your head, a bathroom, all that kind of good stuff. And so that's what the Ottos are to Alicia and the Clarks. Right. They came in and they were treated overall, actually, minus the Troy situation at the very beginning when Troy was trying to kill Travis and Nick and Luciana. They've been treated fairly well, especially with Jeremiah. I'm with you. Like I did feel like it was kind of sudden, the way that she changed her feelings towards the Clarks. Now ultimately she didn't know that she was giving them anthrax, but I mean, come on, you're right. Like, she was letting Walker's men come in. And she had to have seen what Walker did to some of the other militiamen. We weren't shown her in those episodes whenever we came up on the old dude and get his head pecked out and everything. and the rest of those people were all burned. She wasn't.
She did say that she knew what his schedule was. So as far as Gretchen and her family,
Yeah.
that she knew that he wasn't out for that.
Yes.
But she made it seem like she was pretty familiar with Walker's schedule and what he was doing. So I don't know. I just didn't think it was very cool. I get that he took her in, and she was not a fan of Otto's. But as soon as you find out
she
that
should not be, for sure.
Yeah, as soon as you find out your family is there, I don't know.
Yeah, it was kind of weird. And I mean, remember back in the day, I thought Nick and Ophelia, they kind of had something going on. And
exactly.
And then Ophelia, she bailed on him and everything.
That's the only. Well, that's not the only thing, but that's another reason I think that she and Walker went to the Bone Zone, because you change affections very quickly.
Yes.
Once you
go take it to the Bone Zone. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, dude, you're making me crazy.
How do you feel about, like if you're the Clarks?
Yeah.
How do you feel about Ophelia at this point? And we're seeing a lot in the comments. I wish I could go back. Somebody mentioned something of agreeing with Ophelia before. A lot of people are saying that she's justified to an extent, but once you see that your friends are on the other side, you go with who you were with first. And Sue Ellen said the same sort of. Ophelia only thought it would make them sick, not kill them. Otto and his sons are pretty evil, not anti-Clark. But see, this is twice that she's more or less betrayed the Clarks. Mm-hmm. She left off with the vehicle earlier from the hotel. So she took their vehicle, she took some supplies and whatnot from them. Didn't tell them where she was going or anything. Put them in a bad spot in that situation, if I can remember correctly. It's been a while since we watched those episodes. And then with this, so if I'm the Clarks, like, how do I trust this person at all anymore? Like, I don't. And that definitely sucks, like, for Ophelia's character, because I do like her as a character. I think she was interesting in season 2 and in season 1, but I don't know. I don't know about Ophelia. And she did almost get Alicia killed, and that's not okay, Andrew. You're completely right. Alicia, you can't be trying to kill Alicia. And
I think
Nick,
Andrew,
I don't care.
Andrew is trying to compete with you for Alicia.
He is.
He has developed a major crush on her as well. So
how could you not? How could you not?
I get it. One, she's extremely good looking, but she has started to become a character that you really admire, which is so nice. She's got out of that whole teenage angst. She's got a really good level head. She's smart. So yeah, you have to love Alicia.
Yeah. Yuritsa said, "I was scared for Nick. I don't understand Ophelia's behavior. Too soon to change like that." Yeah,
yes.
I think we're in agreement with you, Yuritsa, because it just seemed like really, really quick. But again, if you're boning this person and they saved you from the desert, those are two very good reasons to want to betray somebody else. And when you don't know that it's anthrax, that you think it's just some kind of little food poison that they're going to get, I get it. But
I was super worried for Nick as well, because we didn't watch the episode until right before we came on here, and I had a lot of people saying, "Oh, I can't wait for you to watch it. It's really good." Yeah. And I heard a lot of good buzz around it, that it was a very exciting episode. And I thought, oh my God, it's an exciting episode, because basically they killed off what has been the main character, Nick.
Yeah.
So I was super worried. We finally got a haircut out of him.
Kind of cleaned him up a little bit. He didn't wash the freaking new haircut.
No, but it's not as greasy looking. It's a little. It's not quite cute, but it's at least headed in the right direction.
Yeah, I thought it looked nice, and you're right. At the end of the episode, episode 7, he's keeling over, and I'm just like, oh shit, they're doing it. They're killing off one of the Clarks, because I keep waiting for it to happen. Like I keep feeling like they're doing ultimately something with these characters to weave them into the Walking Dead storyline. And I feel like ultimately Nick's got to go if they're going to ever do that type of stuff. So Swan said, I guess so, kind of agreeing with what we're saying about Ophelia betraying the Clarks. But I wouldn't trust Madison as far as I could throw her. She would throw Ophelia under the bus if it suited her, even if Ophelia was Lord of the Clarks. Totally agree. You are 1,000% correct about Madison's character. Yeah, you can't trust Madison one bit. I mean, Jeremiah learned that lesson the hard way in this episode. Yeah. He threw in with the Clarks. He threw in with the wrong people. Part of me thinks maybe he would have lived had he just left the land and let Walker have the land. But since he at the end of the day, it's the zombie apocalypse, and whoever has the more resources and the bigger forces behind them is going to take that land. Just like it back in the day, what it was whenever we've got Spain conquering different places, England, Europe conquering different places. Whoever had the bigger army, that's who took the shit. Then in the zombie apocalypse, that's what it comes down to. If Negan and the sanctuary and his people have more shit than Rick's people, they're going to come in, they're going to take Rick's shit just like they do in every episode of season 7. So you might not like it, but that's just how it's going to go. So I don't know. Like if Jeremiah wouldn't have been stubborn, he probably would be alive. I don't know if Walker would have ultimately killed him. He probably would have, maybe. I don't know. But had he have just like left the land, but he crossed the Clarks, and specifically Madison Clark, and he got his head cut off, like straight up Game of Thrones style. So
the only thing that they didn't do is stick it on a stake. Yeah, and put it outside
and parade it around everywhere. Yeah, I agree with everything that everybody's saying. There's definitely this one's more or less in a gray area for me. I can see I can see different sides of this, different opinions that I can agree with on Ophelia. So Robin said it seems like they're setting up Madison to be one of the big bads that our crew from The Walking Dead will have to deal with. You might want to stick around for the later on topic.
For the very special.
Yeah, for the super spectacular one. So on that, you think that she wasn't justified. I don't think she was justified. I can see arguments from the other side of the story, but I still, at the end of the day, these are the people that were there for you in the beginning of the shit. They helped take care of your dad as well. I'm gonna have to go with I don't think she was quite justified. So all right, so topic number 3. Speaking of crazy ass Madison that will do anything and everything, who else is Madison going to kill to stay alive and to keep her family alive in Fear of the Walking Dead? Is everybody going to die? Everybody
is going to die. And here's the big question for me. She kills everybody that comes against her family.
Yep.
What if one of her family members comes against her? What if Alicia doesn't like what's going on with what Nick and Madison did, and she joins the other side, Walker's gang?
Yeah.
Okay, so then what?
Look at you with that tie into topic number 4. Damn, you're good, Mom. Damn, you're good. No, I that's kind of where my head is going as well. Is just that we saw seeds being planted in this double episode mid-season finale. Whenever Alicia is questioning, what if Walker and them didn't kill the Trimbles? They didn't kill Gretchen and her family and everything. And Madison's just like, okay, let's talk about something else.
Come on. Girl, just move on. Yeah. Just move on.
They killed them and we're going to kill all them.
Yes, exactly. Go hang out with the pretty boy.
Yeah, exactly. Why don't you go back to the Bone Zone and do something else than talk to your mama like that? Don't ever back talk your mom. I mean, What do you mean back talk my mom? What are you talking about? I don't know what you're talking about, Alicia. Mm-hmm. I completely agree with you that I feel like, which is weird because I always thought it was going to be Alicia and Madison, and then Nick was going to kind of be excommunicated at some point.
Yes. Because he was the one that always seemed like they had set him up to be the good, kind soul.
Yeah.
That would not go along with any killing. I mean, we saw that he couldn't even kill the walkers,
Yes.
the infected. And now suddenly he's like, I got me a pistol. I'm going to shoot people in the head with it. So I'm going to cut my hair to join the militia. So.
Yeah, I agree with you. It is weird. Again, this is one of those. This is one of my problems with Fear the Walking Dead is the inconsistencies of the characters. And I understand that people can evolve and they can change.
Yes.
I get that. I
okay.
totally understand that, and that's okay with me. It's just when they do those 180s so quickly. Now, with Nick, they have been planting those seeds a little bit more in season 3. His relationship with Jeremiah was something that was completely different than what we've seen from Nick in the past. The fact that he was able to let Luciana go without as much of a fight as you thought Nick would.
Now that was just weird.
Yeah, it was very weird, but to your point, it kind of seems like, Nick is more closely aligning with Madison and the way that Madison goes about her business. It seems like Nick is clinging on to that now because for the longest time, that's what Madison wanted. She wanted Nick to follow her to the ends of the earth and that was her baby boy and she loved him and Alicia's the straight A student but she doesn't give a crap about her. She's like, you're not my Nick. My Nick that's a drug addict and a loser.
He needs me.
Yeah, he needs me. You don't need anything.
Right.
So Madison, man, she's the worst. In my opinion, like she plays all sides, and Walker better watch his back because Walker sided with somebody he shouldn't have sided with, in my opinion. And Troy, and well, especially Jake. Troy. Whatever. Oh. He's a psychopath. But
Jake is a goner.
Yeah, Jake is definitely a goner now because Jeremiah. Regardless of how you feel about him as an individual, as a human being, he definitely cared for Jake. He didn't really give two shits about Troy, I don't think. He realized what Troy was. Much in the same vein, we keep talking about Game of Thrones, but you look at the character of Joffrey and how everybody kind of felt about Joffrey, especially Tywin Lannister. Tywin Lannister wasn't taking no shit from Joffrey. And it was great. And Jeremiah, he doesn't really take a lot of shit from Troy. He keeps him more or less in line. But when Madison came in, that influence over Troy was so much greater than Jeremiah's influence over Troy. So I did want to see what Tim said really quickly. Tim said she will not blink an eye and she will kill them. So I think he's talking about killing basically everybody. And so someone said, I hope Alicia breaks away from Madison. I still think Nick is Madison's favorite. Nick was quick to run over his drug dealer, so he has got a bit of a killer in him, but agree 180s are very annoying. Yeah, they definitely are. And I think that was probably my biggest problem with this double-sized episode is there was lots of really, really fast, not complete 180s, but it felt like that. So
where I have the real problem is when we do those big character changes and then we flip flop them back. So I feel okay right now. Okay, not fantastic, but I feel okay about the changes that they are making. But I do think that there is. Well, there's some the shit's going to hit the fan with Alicia and Madison.
I agree. Totally. So I was going to piggyback on what you just said about the 180s and everything. So in this episode, that was another thing that I thought was really weird. That it seemed like for the last couple of episodes, Madison, it was all signs point to war with Walker. So what happened so drastic? Like what? I don't understand what suddenly happened. I mean, other than the fact that I guess maybe she saw that this is a war that we can't win, because it was so weird to me that she could have done this at any time, because Walker has given her I think had given her the chance before, right? And said, maybe he didn't. Maybe I guess it was in this episode where he was like, you can side with me, and she's like, we don't get to pick who, or no, Ophelia said that, and she told Ophelia we don't get to pick whose side we are on or what team we're on, whatever.
No. Madison did tell. She told Walker that.
Oh, right.
So I did think it was very interesting that that Walker tells her that you're the greatest thing. You're better than every man. Basically you got bigger danglies
Bigger
than
cojones.
yes than all the autos do. I thought that was kind of interesting when she comes in basically guns blazing. Although I could see why he would respect that, but
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know.
But isn't it weird though to you? How they just I don't know, for me, I know I'm going back to that, but it's just weird to me that they completely changed that up, where it's like they just dropped that whole storyline. She lied to her family, to Alicia and to Nick and the people about the Trimbles getting murdered by Troy. And then all of a sudden she's just like, whatever. We're not going to go to war anymore. And I did see that Robin's beach ball size lady nuts. That was fantastic.
Oh man, I love that line. I love that line. So
that is a fantastic line.
And she definitely has them. So
yeah, she definitely does. So do you think Alicia's going to go? Does that mean you think that Walker's going to stick around? Because it seems like at this point he may be one of those characters where that's it. His storyline's done. He didn't get the ranch, but that's okay.
Well, I mean, he didn't necessarily not get the ranch at this point,
No.
because that wasn't the whole agreement. In my understanding, it wasn't the agreement that I kill Otto and keep the ranch, but we get rid of Otto and then we all live together at the ranch in harmony. That was what I understood it to be. So I think Walker's still got a few episodes left in him, just as a catalyst to split Alicia and Madison up. And then as soon as they make that happen, then he's a goner. She'll kill him too.
She's like, you try to take my baby girl, you're dead. Because going back to topic 3, she'll kill everybody at this point. If you're in the way, or if you get, and that's the thing with Troy, like what's going to happen with Troy, I have no clue at this point, because I don't know if Madison has any need for him anymore, and the fact that if she's handing over Brokejaw Ranch like you say to Walker, because that again, see, I don't see how that's going to work at this point unless Walker comes to blows with Troy, because Troy's done some despicable things to Walker and his people, that group. So I just don't see how Troy fits into that equation at this point. I think Jake's fine. I think Jake will still ultimately die some way, somehow, like in the crossfire. Something bad will happen.
I was surprised that he lived through this episode. So
I was too. I was really surprised by that. I didn't think Walker was going to be the one to kill him, but I thought maybe he was going to get poisoned or something. And
I thought that Madison was going to kill him and make it look like Walker did it to incite Jeremiah.
Yeah. That would have been interesting. I think that would have been very interesting to see that happen, and then kind of spur Jeremiah into a war that she knows that at that point that he couldn't win, and then maybe and then that's when she comes in and betrays his ass.
Yeah.
As they're going to battle or something like that. But yeah, it didn't happen that way. But I'm with you. Madison, she'll do anything that she has to do, and I do think that there's going to be a wedge that's driven between Alicia and Madison at this point. So. Yuritsa said, I think that Madison is a killer even more than Carol. Carol still has something as making her not to kill, but Madison will kill anyone that could be possible danger to her family. I think
at this point they're not even in the same ballpark. Carol is a killer when she has to be.
Yeah.
But I don't think she's a psycho, and I think Madison is just a psycho.
Yeah, the only really controversial thing that Carol did that was out of line with the rest of the group is whenever she burned what's her face. I cannot Tyrese.
Karen.
Yeah,
Karen.
burned Karen.
Why I can remember Karen and David, I have no idea.
That's good. I'm glad you remember because I definitely did not remember. And so that was the only thing that she did. She was going a little bit far, right?
She killed them first, and then burned them. She just thought she was, helping the community not die of a disease because Rick wouldn't step up.
Yeah.
So, but yes, she went a little bit far.
But that's the only time, in my opinion, that she's gone too far. I mean, when you compare her to what Madison has done, oof, like some of the things Madison has done are pretty bad. I would say the biggest offender is the fact that she put in with freaking Troy. I mean, come on, like you can't side with a dude like Troy. That's just a maximum offense. It's terrible. So Tim said, I think the writers don't want you to be able to guess the character's direction. Keep you wanting a logical conclusion than not giving it to you to stay on the. I can't read right now. They can't keep wanting a logical conclusion than not giving it to you on storylines. Keeps us glad or mad, but interested. LOL.
Yes, yes, and you're right, Tim. Sometimes we want them to follow logic, and I get being illogical every once in a while, but I am a extremely logical, straightforward kind of person. We know this about me, right? This is a joke, Justin. Are you even paying attention?
Well, I'm watching. I'm looking at you like, yep. Oh, man.
I also, I was going to mention what Robin said, but basically she said I nailed it about the differences between Carol and Madison. So that made me feel good. So thank you very much.
Yeah.
I mean, I just had to point that out.
Hey, I mean, you're always right, Mom. Come on.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Mom's is always right.
Yes.
Andrew said, oh, my God, like the second half might be a Civil War type thing if Alicia or whoever takes up the Walker community. I think it'll be Daniel Salazar. That'd be cool. They could do a marketing thing. Whose side are you on? That could be fun.
And put all the posters out, in advance, and get us all stirred up, and it could be interesting.
I think it could be fun. I almost think that they'll probably do that anyway, even if it doesn't result in anything. Because I don't know if you remember, was it back in season 6 when The Walking Dead, they were doing all their promos and they made it out to be that it was going to be Rick Grimes versus Morgan, and they kept having those
yes!
Posters where it was like Rick staring really fiercely, and Morgan was staring really fiercely, and yes, they had philosophical differences in that season, but it never led to
that was because it was the end of the season when Morgan comes on and all you hear him do is Rick.
Yes,
that's his only line. Yes, and they played that up.
They played that up huge in the marketing for the following season. So
and the next season, all they had to do was sit back and watch us all be pissed off about.
Yeah.
Negan.
Which I'm excited. Walking Dead stuff. We're going to be gearing up because during Comic-Con, which is Friday, I think it's Friday, July 20th or something like that. It's going to be great. So we're going to get the new trailer for season 8, and both of us couldn't be more excited about that. So
yes, cannot wait. And I am not going to wear my hair like this.
Oh, come on. Your hair's awesome, and your hat's cool.
Yes, I'm just saying it was curly last year when we watched our San Diego Comic-Con stuff. And so for one whole year, I've seen San Diego Comic-Con stuff come up.
Yeah, curly hair.
And that my kinky hair. Yeah. So.
Back to what Andrew said, just to wrap that up. I think that would be really cool. I would love to see some kind of infighting between the Clarks at this point. I think that would be really cool. We saw little bits and pieces of that with Travis against Madison because they had conflicting ideologies about how to go about things in the zombie apocalypse, but it never came to blows. Now, if we got Alicia versus Madison, I think that could be pretty interesting. And Alicia's definitely stepped up in season 3 thus far. The way that she ripped into Ophelia's ass, and I was like, damn, man, she gave Ophelia the business. in
If
episode
if
7.
I was going to vote on which Clark I'd like to have as leader, it would definitely be Alicia.
Yeah, I would want Alicia as leader, but Madison
Hmm.
would kill her. So
Of
I know it's
course.
it's 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 tough to decide. Like if we were into celebrity death match, it's
Yeah.
Madison
Hmm.
Clark versus Alicia Clark. My money's gonna be on Madison, but I'm hoping that Alicia wins, like and takes my money. That's
Yeah.
what I'm ultimately hoping.
Hmm.
And yeah, we'll definitely be doing our live stream, our reactions to the trailers of Comic Con. We're very excited about that. So okay, let's get into the final topic, the super
Okay.
awesome, fantastic, spectacular bonus topic, and that is, are you guys ready for this? I've got an image to put up behind us as we talk
Oh,
about it.
yay.
I'm so
Okay.
fancy. All right.
It is fancy.
All right, here's the drum roll. That was a terrible drum roll.
It was not great, but that's okay.
It's not great. All right, so bonus topic. Is Walker actually Beta from the Walking Dead comic books?
Bum bum bum. That's fireworks,
Explosion.
right?
Yeah, that's fireworks coming out of my head. Fireworks coming out of my head right now. So I thought that this was kind of interesting. In here, I'll take our topics away really quickly, so that way you can see that, and I'll take us away for just a second as well. Boom. So
Because they look so much alike.
no, they don't. Obviously, they don't.
Okay.
They don't look alike at all. That's definitely true. Like as far as their facial structure, because we see that Beta, he has a beard underneath the skin that he has over his
Right.
face. Because if you know anything about the whispers, and I'm not gonna go into spoilers about the whispers anything. I'm just gonna talk in generalities about Beta from the Walking Dead comic books and why there could potentially be something there with Walker being Beta from Fear the Walking Dead, or from the Walking Dead comic books. And I understand, like Andrew, I know you said earlier that Robert Kirkman said something along the lines of, the Fear the Walking Dead will never cross over with the Walking Dead, and that they're not the Whispers. But you know what Robert Kirkman is full of? Shit.
Yeah, I mean, he's lied so many times.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
he loves it.
Yeah.
It's fine. He can lie all he wants.
Yeah, we love him, but he's
Yes.
definitely full of poop
Yeah,
on
it's all right.
occasion whenever he's trying to keep some things close to his vest. And for me, so just getting into a couple of different things. So very obvious comparison is the size and stature of Walker and Beta. The fact that Beta is a large ass dude. He is a giant. I didn't want to spoil any pictures, because I could have pulled some pictures, and you could do some easy Google searches, Beta the Walking Dead, and you can see him up against some other very famous Walking Dead characters from the comic books, and he's like a good foot and a half above them. He's a big dude. And there's an image throughout these episodes of the mid-season finale where him and Madison are next to each other, and he towers over Madison, so you can see the height. So like right there, that's in one right there. It's very loose one, but just the height and stature. Beta's a big ass dude, and Walker is as well. So we know that Walker, he has Native American roots, and we do know that Native Americans, they show us all the time, and sometimes it gets kind of old, like the whole like scalping thing. Like I feel like that's like a go-to. They're like, all right, we've got Indians that we're trying to
Right.
implement into the show. They've got to scalp people.
Yes.
Which whatever, but it does happen, and obviously it is based on some truths. I have no clue. I wasn't around in that time. If like they just went around scalping people all the time, but I think that's like a myth in the sense of like we want to make these people more feared. They did, they scalp people all the time. But that is something that did happen, and the wearing of skins. So I think that is something
Okay.
that's very interesting.
Yeah.
We see that the Whispers, they do wear skins of other people, and that's something that happens with Walker. So they showed him like having skins and stuff in this episode. I think he gave a skin to Ophelia, right? I mean, obviously it was an animal skin. I can't remember what it was that
Yeah.
he gave her. He gave it to somebody. I can't remember. So that's another thing that I think is like a nice similarity between the Whispers and introducing like the whole Native American angle into Fear the Walking Dead. So I thought that was cool. And also just like I think how like Native Americans and how they treat the land, and like the land is sacred. And you go back to season 2 of Fear the Walking Dead, and how the I forget, like the people that they ran into in that episode, in those seasons, or in season 2, and how they treated the walkers, and that they didn't think that they were ultimately bad, that they were
family that was
the compound that Nick came up on and stuff, and it's like they didn't want to kill the walkers and all that kind of stuff. And so I feel like maybe some of the Native Americans, like, since they respect the land, they respect animals, they do that kind of, they have that feelings and sentiments. Maybe they would feel similarly towards the treatment of walkers. We haven't seen Walker's group take out a zombie or anything. Like, I don't know how they feel about that. Maybe they aren't like like the rest of Madison and Rick Grimes and everybody, that like the walkers are ultimately bad. So that's another one. And then Madison teaming up with them. I think that's ultimately the biggest thing, because you and I both have thought for a while now that Madison could potentially be the beginning of the Whispers. She seems like she has all the right characteristics of turning into the Whispers, and now with her team, she hasn't ultimately teamed up with Walker, but they've came to an agreement. So I don't know. I thought that was cool. And your earlier conversations about the fact that that you have bigger balls than all of the Autos. Beta has like this utmost respect for Alpha,
right,
in the Walking Dead comic books, and we see like some of that respect given from Walker to Madison in its very early stages. So I don't know.
And the only argument would be, or the biggest argument would be, that the shows would definitely have to crisscross with each other for that to work.
Exactly. And like Andrew says, the time period, I keep thinking that this is how I ultimately feel like Fear the Walking Dead could go, and it'd be really interesting, is that the back half of the season 3 is when we start to go into that time jump.
When we start catching up with The Walking Dead, so that we could go ahead and have that crossover, which I would love. I mean, and they kind of I feel like they laid the groundwork. I mean, we talked about this in the past. We knew that Madison was from the South, but she makes a very pointed effort to point out that she's from Alabama. So in her whole story about the little girl, probably she's not Rick Grimes' sister like we had kind of all hoped that she would be. But I don't know. Is she maybe Daryl Dixon's sister? Because Daryl Dixon had a shitty upbringing. Although I don't remember him ever telling a story that anybody killed his daddy.
No, yeah, I mean,
because his dad was alive, and they got out of there as fast as they could because his dad was such a jerk.
Yeah.
Okay, so but I still think her roots are in the South.
Yeah.
And she's the main focus of Fear the Walking Dead. So I don't know. I felt like they pointed it out a lot in this episode.
Tim Sanders, she was my sister. LOL.
Okay. That's a possibility. It could be that she's related to Tim.
Yeah. Well, as far as I mean, I have no clue if she's like related to somebody on The Walking Dead. That could be the case.
Hey, don't. I love how you poo-poo me.
Well, I was like, where you go with this? Like,
seriously, we've talked about this before.
No, you're right. We have talked, and I'm not poo-pooing ultimately, because like in my notes, I think I wrote down something about whenever she's talking about South Alabama and like the abusive father and everything. I wrote down in my notes too that I was like, is she Merle's, sister? Is this Daryl and Merle's sister?
And then we start talking about it in the stream, and you're like, she's related to somebody? Where you come up with that, Mom? You're so dumb.
Well, no, I just didn't know where you were going with it, because we were talking about the Whispers, and then you're like, nah, she's related to somebody, but.
I'm talking about the crossover of the two shows.
Oh, well, yeah. So you're saying that could potentially be the crossover, even though it wouldn't be like a huge crossover. It would just be
I'm saying a reason to tie us into getting back to the South and getting down where Negan is, because we have to get to Negan.
Well, technically, he's not in the South, though.
You're right. He's in the East. He's in, okay. So on the other coast, we have to get to the other coast.
Mm-hmm. No, I mean, there's going to have to be
we
something.
have seen how a mean mother can be. Do I have to send you little vignettes, little tapes of the shit that Madison does to make you fall in line, Justin?
No, you may have to. You may have to. I like Sue Ellen. Madison is Rick's evil cousin.
Yeah, there you go. See?
I mean, hey, eventually there's going to be some type of crossover. I mean, it's going to be complete ludicrous BS if our two universes don't collide at some point. I know Robert Kirkman, you can say it till the cows come home that they're not ever going to cross, but as a fan of The Walking Dead and as a watcher of Fear the Walking Dead, I want to see that. I want
jackass.
I want there to be a crossover from Fear the Walking Dead and The Walking Dead. Like, it needs to happen, and it needs to happen. I feel like sooner rather than later, because I don't want Fear the Walking Dead to just keep going to the well of Madison's will do anything to protect her family. That shit's getting old. Like, we've been seeing that for a while now. We see it all the time on The Walking Dead. Like,
okay, I was going to say we see it on The Walking Dead as well. So
we definitely do, and it's just we get it. We understand the story. It's I love the book from Cormac McCarthy, The Road. I think that's one of the best zombie.
Normally, I would do
things.
anything to protect my son as well. Normally,
not now.
Not today.
Andrew says, "Stop being mean to your mom."
Exactly.
I love my mom, you guys. Come on now, my mom is the bestest. But I just want something. I want something there,
yeah.
and I do think that for me it would make the most sense and be the coolest crossover if they did turn Madison into Alpha and Beta is Walker. I just think it would be really cool. I mean, look at those locks that Walker has. He's got some fantastic locks, and I don't know what's going on with Beta where he lost. I mean, that's a mask that he has on the top of his head. I don't think that Walker skin came with the hair like that. So I feel like, he's got the Friar Tuck but with long hair, because Friar Tuck had short hair on the side, right?
I don't know, but I feel like from the picture that you've got up there, it looks like the hair came with the skin. I don't know.
It does, but that's so weird, right? I mean, that's why would you pick that one?
I guess maybe he's super handsome underneath, and you really want to throw everybody off. So
exactly, yeah. I don't know. It's just a weird one for him to pick. Like, of all the Walker skins that you can get out there in the world, he picks. I mean, it's a very menacing look. Like, when Beta comes up in the comic books, you're like, damn, that dude is scary as shit. He's definitely scary as hell looking. But
I mean, anybody that shows up with a person's skin fold over their face as a mask, it is going to scare the pee out of me anyway.
Yeah, pee just going to be like,
it's
explosion of pee.
It's just streaming.
Yeah, it's going everywhere. Yeah, at that point. I don't know who said it down there, but somebody said Walker's the handsome son of a gun. So I mean, hey, maybe Beta underneath there, maybe he's some super handsome dude. So
it could be.
Could be indeed.
And before we go, I do want to give our scores on where we are as far as at the midway point on the competition with the Brains Gone Bad zombie fantasy apocalypse.
The Zompocalypse Fantasy 5.
Thank you. Okay, so we actually have pulled into the lead of all the podcasters in that group. I know!
We're the bestest.
We are the best. We are leading Brains Gone Bad. They're at 57 points and we're at 60 points. So,
ooh, that's a tight race.
It's a tight race, but I don't know. Do we get our prizes for the the midway point?
Exactly. What do we get? Do we just get good job, guys?
I think that's probably what it is. It's going to be good job, guys.
I'm trying to remember our team name. Did we lose somebody in this episode? We lost Jeremiah.
Jeremiah.
Damn
He was our wild card.
Dang it. Son of
I know.
a bitch.
So I think maybe we can pick new people for the second half.
We need to do something like that with Game of Thrones. But except we don't need to do it. Brains Gone Bad needs to do it.
Yeah, my God. With that show, jeez.
I know, that would be so much fun. To do something like a death pool or something, because this season's going to get crazy of Game of Thrones. Like it's just going to be,
people are really going to start dying off. I did see that Tim gave us a trophy, so thank you, Tim.
Cheers.
That's
Tim.
probably all we're going to get, and the congratulations from everybody in the chat. So thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you guys.
We are the champions.
Of the world.
Do you want me?
And by the way, Andrew, I saw you and Robin trying to slip it by me that would mean that Alicia is Carl's girlfriend. I'll slit Carl's throat myself. I will end his life.
Well, if you come up on the correct side of him, he'll never know you were there.
Exactly. You better watch out, Carl. I got my eye on you. Oh,
yeah,
double.
Yeah, except you should have said eyes.
Well,
Carl has his eye on you.
Dang it. All right. You win. Robin said that would be really tough to do for the Game of Thrones. So many that could go on there, no doubt about it.
If anybody needs to do it, it needs to be Robin.
Yes, Robin. Can you start a Game of Thrones
fantasy draft team thing and do it between now and next Sunday?
Yeah, exactly.
And
Not too much to ask, right?
I mean, you are the Game of Thrones master.
You are definitely our go-to when it comes to Game of Thrones, which is it's so crazy, but you are now the Game of Thrones master. And I definitely whenever we do our Game of Thrones rewatch podcast, hint, Mom, hint, I got my eyeball.
You're gonna have to be a lot nicer.
Winking.
You're gonna have to be way nicer to me during one of these episodes for me to suddenly want to do that with you.
Oh, I'll have to come up with something to give you, or I'll buy your love with something. I don't know what.
Okay, that'd be good.
All right. Yes, Maester Robin. That is right. Maester Robin of. I'm gonna put Robin in. Well, since you love Brienne so much, I'm gonna put you in House Tarth. So, I think House Tarth is okay, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
that's a great. It's an honorable place to be.
Yeah, Brienne's a badass. She's the best. So, all right, I think we got to give our scores. I completely almost forgot about that for Fear the Walking Dead, the mid-season finale. What do you give?
I want you to give yours. I want you to give yours first because I'm super curious what yours is going to be.
Okay. I'm gonna keep it quick because I think I gave all my grievances early up front.
Yes.
I'm gonna give it 3.5 out of 5 for the mid-season finale as a whole. If we just based it on episodes alone, like episode 7 and then episode 8,
you can do that if you want.
I would give episode 7 a 4 out of 5 bacons, and then I would give episode 8 a 3.5 out of 5 bacons. So.
Okay.
That's what I would give it. I saw some scores really quickly. Yuritsa gave it a 3.8, so not much higher than mine. I think we were on the same page. We're on the same wavelength. Andrew giving it 5 out of 5 bacons. Andrew said so much Alicia all the time. 50 million bacons for Alicia.
That's hilarious. Okay, because I was thinking about going there as well, Andrew. I wanted to.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna give it a nice solid 4.5 bacons.
Wow. Look at you guys with these high scores.
I was not bored at any point. It moved. It was 2 hours of Fear the Walking Dead, and I didn't want to shoot myself. So that is high praise.
That should be on their like DVD Blu-ray cover. It was 2 hours of Fear the Walking Dead, and I didn't want to shoot myself. Kelly, Rant Apocalypse.
I mean, seriously. So yeah.
You're welcome for that, AMC. You're welcome. We would like at least, a few pennies thrown our way. So for that, yes, Alicia is love. Alicia is life. You're definitely right. I don't know if Tim's giving it 2 bacons.
Is that 2 bacons,
Two
Tim?
bacons out of 5?
You need to raise your score up. Either that or you're not watching all the episodes.
I don't know. Andrew said it's in. This was in my top 5 Walking Dead and Fear episodes. So you're saying like, if you had to put them together,
Wow.
you combine The Walking Dead and Fear the Walking Dead, that this episode would be there. Oh, 4 bacon. Excuse me. I did not see the splits. It kind of looked like pants. It's kind of what it looked like when I was looking at the emoji.
Yeah.
It kind of looked like pants from my angle.
Okay. See, and for me too, it just looks like pants, but I assumed they were bacons.
Yeah, exactly.
And it looked like 2 pairs of pants.
It did look like 2 pairs of pants.
I'm glad. Thank you guys for correcting us there. And I didn't see Sue Ellen's score.
Oh.
What was it, Sue Ellen?
I don't know. I didn't see it either. But these are pretty good scores, guys.
Mm-hmm.
If I wasn't an asshole and a bastard, I'd probably, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong, but I'm not, right?
No, I think you're wrong.
You're like, you're wrong. It was definitely 4.5 out of 5 bacons.
I
Best
just feel
episodes ever.
I feel like, again, if I'm comparing it to Game of Thrones,
Yeah.
But I'm just keeping it as a Fear the Walking Dead. This season is so far and above the other seasons. I have enjoyed every episode of this entire season. I haven't been bored not one time. Now, yes, I have big question marks that come after some of them, but still, I was completely entertained, and I really am very curious to see what shit Madison's going to get everybody into. So I liked it.
No, I would agree with everything that you just said. It has been very enjoyable, especially when you compare it to what has come before it. Like it doesn't even feel like it's the same show sometimes. Like the characters are not doing just asinine things anymore.
Right.
Yet maybe they do some inconsistent things compared to how they acted in previous seasons, but that's probably a good thing. Like overall,
thank God.
because
Thank God.
They were doing some really dumb shit earlier on in the season. So yeah, I will agree with you. I mean, if I had to rate out of bacons the entire first half of season 3, even though I think, like, if you looked at every episode's individual score, maybe I would have, like, I gave them lower, like a 3.5 or something. But I would say overall, season 3 part 1 is a 4 out of 5 bacons for me. It has been very enjoyable. It's been very fast paced. I think interesting plot lines that we've been seeing play out. So yeah, it has been head and shoulders above what everything has came before. So Madison is my future ex-wife, Tim. Tim likes him crazy.
yeah. I mean, that sounds about right. That sounds right for him. I do hate that Otto's gone, because I did like his character more in the beginning than tonight. But
yeah, Dayton Callie, he's such a great character actor. So big ups to Dayton Callie. You know, his run on the show, I think, was very impactful. Yeah, whenever he came in, it definitely felt like, he ushered in ultimately a new era for Fear the Walking Dead, in my opinion, with his introduction in the final episode of season 2. And he will, for me, he'll be missed. I thought he was a very interesting character. Again, I'm not going to go back to the well of wishing that they would have maybe extended his run.
Yes.
That I would have liked to have seen Jake died or something like that. And Jeremiah stay around and be like, furious, and like the war's about to go down, and keep dragging Madison into his own shit.
Yes, and decide, after she learns more about him, oh shit, am I on the wrong side? And oh, I've met Walker, and he has this high respect for me. Build that tension.
Exactly.
That would have been great.
Yeah.
They did kind of cut it off a little bit quicker than I feel like they should have.
They deflated the balloon before the party was over. So
yes, I am really happy that they have allowed Troy's eye to look better and better. 24 hours later, he looks bitchin'.
Yeah,
so
it's almost like he never got spooned in the eye.
No, there's a teeny little, so cute little sexy scar right there underneath his eye. So,
You're
and it
hilarious.
looks like he's got great vision out of it too.
He
So,
does. He was popping caps and everybody
Yeah.
all over the place.
Yeah.
Just like,
So,
really, really quick. So, we want to thank you guys so much. This has been, a new experiment for us of streaming our thoughts on the episodes. We typically don't do it this way. We've always podcasted just the two of us, like no other people to see some of the stupid things that we say,
and recorded a whole lot of stuff, and so then go back and take out all of our negativity.
Exactly.
So now it's just out there for the world to see.
Exactly. And you guys have been fantastic. We've loved the interaction that you guys have given us during Fear the Walking Dead. It's been awesome, like having you guys chat with us, and we hope that you will join us for whatever we decide to do for Game of Thrones. We'll definitely be back doing this for Fear the Walking Dead in the back half of season 3, but I would love to do this for Game of Thrones. I know Mom's sometimes a little bit skeptical because Game of Thrones has definitely got so much crazy
hard.
stuff going on.
And people say, "Oh my God, does your mom even watch the show? She is so stupid."
Yeah.
And because I'm like, "Oh my God, Jamie looks so great."
Exactly.
That's my input.
And there's so many characters on Game of Thrones compared to most every typical TV show, and it's hard to keep up. And there's lots of Game of Thrones assholes out there that
and we're the nicest assholes.
Yeah, exactly.
That are out
Yes, but we'll definitely let you guys know, and we would love to have you for that because it's going to be 7 glorious episodes of Game of Thrones coming up next Sunday on HBO. So. Fucking Jamie Lannister. I had a good accent at the beginning, then it just died off as I said it. So, I mean, I say good, but not great. So, fucking Jamie Lannister. No, it's just not good. It's just not good tonight. It's not good. It's just not good. I think I could do it better on my own. Maybe I'll record it and then I'll play it back to you guys, and you'll see that it was actually good.
You just record it and put it up on the channel.
If it's Mother Russia, then I've got the accent.
Yeah. Oh, how much did you lose your shit in here when they started talking about vodka? When Strand, who we never even talked about, the fact that he got on his CB radio and talked to a Russian cosmonaut that was orbiting the Earth. Please. What the hell?
I said it was 3.5 bacons. I take it all away. It was a half bacon out of 5. Just that ridiculous shit from Strand in this episode.
Come on, that was so stupid. It's like they had to put him in there.
But they had to talk to somebody from Mother Russia. We had to hear the vodka stories.
Yeah, that was that part.
Vodka.
And then here he was so excited and talking about booze, and then used the booze to burn the boat.
Which
hell?
he burned that boat because Strand is he's burning his past away. He knows now that he cannot keep to his selfish ways and live like that anymore. So he's burned the Abigail. But when I saw that damn boat, that GD boat, I said, no!
I know, me too.
Not again.
Please, no. We're not going back on there. Yeah.
Yeah, that was my first initial thought. But, but yeah, hey, Strand, we love you. Hopefully you're more involved in the back half of season 3. So, yeah, hopefully that happens. I'm just kidding about the half bacon. I still give it 3.5 bacons out of 5.
Okay, all right.
And yeah, we love you guys. And yes, Andrew, I'll be doing video games and tea tomorrow. We do have a gaming channel. If you like video games, it's the Old Ass Casuals. You can find us on YouTube, and there's a Facebook page you can like as well. That's where we do all of our video game stuff now. So,
yes,
the Old Ass Casuals.
And we wanted to talk about Fear the Walking Dead so much that we skipped playing a video game today together. So.
Good job, Fear.
It's yeah, exactly.
Cheers. Double cheers. All right. So thank you guys so much for hanging out. We love you. And we will see you guys pretty soon for some Game of Thrones action.
Yep.
Bye.
Bye.